Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, dig in, and pull out the key insights just for you. Today, we're tackling something huge, the universe itself. I mean, people have looked up at the sky forever, right? From, ancient myths and drawing star maps to around now. With these incredible satellites and telescopes showing us things we could barely imagine. But it's more than just the science, the what. We want to ask, what does the universe actually mean? So that's our mission today. We're going beyond just the physics, astronomy and cosmology. That's the study of its origins and how it evolved. And we're looking at the cosmos through, well, a spiritual lens.
Exactly. It's digging into the why behind the what, you could say. This exploration, it really gets into what looking at the cosmos tells us, not just about space and time, but, well, about ourselves, our purpose, maybe even the nature of the divine.
Okay, the universe. So for centuries, long before we had the science, people felt something profound just looking at the night sky. That feeling of awe, that spiritual connection, it was there already, wasn't it? The stars just did something to people. But here's a question I've thought about. Does knowing more, all of the science, does that somehow lessen that original wonder? Or does it maybe make it even deeper?
Oh, definitely deeper. The sources we looked at really emphasize that. Modern science, far from diminishing the wonder, it actually amplifies it. I mean, think about the scale we now know, the observable universe. Over 2 trillion galaxies.
2 trillion.
Right. And each one has billions, sometimes trillions of stars. It's staggering. And it's not just sitting there. The universe is expanding and it's speeding up. Plus, the light from the most distant things we see, it's traveled for billions of years to reach our eyes. These aren't just, dry facts. They're realities that make the grandeur and the mystery even more intense, not less.
2 trillion galaxies? Yeah, that number alone just completely shifts your perspective. It makes you feel tiny. And that feeling, that profound awe, that sense of being so small, maybe if that's where spirituality often kicks in for people, it leads to those really fundamental questions, doesn't it? Like, who am I in all this? Is there some deeper meaning? Could this incredible order, this beauty, be the work of a creator? So we've got science sparking this wonder, giving us these amazing tools to understand how the universe works, the laws, the history. It seems like there's still these big questions left hanging, right? Questions that science alone can't quite answer.
Absolutely. And that's really a core idea here. It's not about science versus spirituality. They're more like partners. Science is fantastic at describing the mechanics, the how, but it's quiet on the why. Like, why is there a universe at all instead of nothing? Science doesn't really have an answer for that. Or why are the fundamental laws of physics so perfectly fine-tuned for life to even exist? It's incredibly precise. And maybe the most fascinating one, why do we humans in this vast, seemingly indifferent cosmos have this capacity for wonder, for love, for morality? Where does that come from? There's a great line in our sources. Science tells us how light travels through space. Spirituality asks why that light stirs something sacred deep inside us.
That's a really helpful way to put it. Science describes, spirituality interprets. So, okay, where do ancient spiritual texts fit in? Our sources mention the Bible specifically. How does it engage with this cosmic picture?
Right. Well, the Bible, for instance, isn't trying to be a science textbook. That's not its purpose. Instead, it speaks about the cosmos with this incredible poetic power. It uses the universe as a way to talk about meaning and truth. Look at Psalm 19.1. It says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands." It's seeing creation itself as testifying to something divine.
Okay.
Or there's Psalm 147.4. He determines the number of the stars and calls them each by name. That suggests this incredible intimacy, this personal knowing, even amidst the vastness.
Calling them by name.
Yeah. And then Psalm 8, which is really powerful, asks, "When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, what is mankind that you are mindful of them?" So from this viewpoint, actually studying the universe, exploring it, can become a form of worship, a way to grasp God's greatness, his intelligence, his creativity. It's sort of like reading God's signature written across space and time.
Reading God's signature. I like that. And speaking of signatures, you mentioned fine-tuning earlier. Our sources point out that this concept, this fine-tuning of the universe, it strikes even scientists who aren't religious. What exactly is that?
Yeah, it's a fascinating area. Fine-tuning basically refers to how the fundamental constants of physics, things like the strength of gravity or the charge of an electron or the rate the universe is expanding, seem to be set at exactly the right values. And I mean, exactly, if you changed any of them, even just a tiny, tiny bit, life as we know it couldn't exist. Maybe the whole universe couldn't exist.
Wow. So tiny changes, huge consequences.
Precisely. The astrophysicist Paul Davies, he put it very bluntly. He said, The impression of design is overwhelming.
Overwhelming design.
Right. Now, for people of faith, this incredible precision isn't usually seen as just, a lucky coincidence. It's often interpreted as reflecting a kind of divine intention. It suggests the universe wasn't just random, but created with purpose, full of structure and beauty and meaning.
It's definitely easy, though, when faced with these vast numbers, trillions of galaxies, billions of years, to feel, well, small, almost meaningless. I wonder, does that resonate with you listening? That feeling of just being a tiny speck? It's pretty common, I
Oh,
think.
it's totally understandable.
Right.
But the spiritual perspective offers a really different take on that feeling. Yes, physically we're minuscule, tiny. But our sources argue strongly that we are not small in significance. Not at all.
Yes.
Well, think about it. We're conscious. We can actually think about the universe that contains us. We can ponder our own existence. We're also moral beings. We search for justice. We value love. We seek truth. We have this inner compass. And we're spiritual beings. We have this hunger for connection, for meaning beyond the material. The fact that this vast, ancient universe produced beings like us, beings who ask questions, who dream, who search for meaning, that's actually extraordinary. And from a Christian perspective, like Psalm 8 says again, the sheer scale of the universe doesn't crush human value. It actually highlights it. Verse 5 says, God made humans a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor.
So instead of making us insignificant, the universe's grandeur kind of elevates the significance of conscious life within it.
That's a great way to put it.
And this leads to another idea in our sources, that the universe itself, for many traditions, isn't just stuff. It actually reflects divine qualities, like a mirror.
Exactly, like a cosmic mirror. Different traditions see different reflections, but some common themes emerge. The incredible order we find, from planetary orbits to physical laws, points towards divine wisdom or intelligence. The sheer beauty, think of nebulae or galaxies or just a sunset that reflects divine glory. The mind-bending vastness hints at God's infinity, something beyond our full grasp. And even the mystery, the things we don't understand, that reminds us of God's transcendence, that ultimate reality is bigger than our comprehension. So in this view, the universe becomes like a temple of wonder, as one source put it, or a canvas where God reveals something of himself, not just in words, but in starlight, in galaxies, in the very fabric of reality.
Okay, so putting this all together, exploring the universe isn't just about telescopes and equations, is it? It sounds like it's a deeply spiritual journey, too.
It really is, or it certainly can be. It invites us to look beyond ourselves, to see our place within this unimaginably vast reality. And the natural response to that often is humility and gratitude and just awe. And what's interesting is the more we learn scientifically, the more amazing it all seems, the more reasons we find for that awe. So that amazement doesn't have to push faith away. It can actually draw us deeper into it. Science and spirituality, when they're at their best, they can be like fellow travelers, both searching for truth, for meaning, for something transcendent.
Fellow travelers, I like that. So here's a final thought to leave you with. The next time you're out, maybe under a clear night sky, and you look up at the stars, remember you're not just looking at distant suns and galaxies. You could also be looking at God's masterpiece. Keep asking the big questions.